history, and they're one win away from an undefeated national championship.
He is Jalen Rose. I am David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do?
Give the people what they want.
What a game Saturday night between Gonzaga and UCLA. One for the ages. Jalen, we have Gonzaga and Baylor coming up this evening and RZA coming up later on. What do you think about tonight's national championship?
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. Because these were the two preseason number 1, 2 ranked teams. And normally that doesn't happen. Only 16% of people predicted this to be the final in their bracket. The two excellent, well-coached teams, they both have different variety of ways that they could score the ball. Baylor, in particular, defensively, does a lot of switching of defenses, does a lot of pressuring, gets out in transition. We just showed how Gonzaga continued their undefeated season. Mark Few has done a terrific job of taking a mid-major program and had them functioning like a major. And for them to be on the precipice, Jacoby, of going undefeated, that's what we need to be talking about. There's an opportunity for a team to go undefeated. I love the running Rebels, led by my big brother Anderson Hunt and Larry Johnson, Stacey Altman, Greg Anthony. I cried when they lost in the Final Four to Duke, not knowing I'd be playing against that same Duke team the next year. One shining moment. This is a terrific opportunity for their program.
So excited about the game tonight. Baylor obviously has their backcourt, which is honestly not fair when you have Donovan Mitchell change his name, dress up as a college player, wearing the same number, the same last name as Davion Mitchell. It's unfair. That's the one thing that Baylor has that could make this a historic upset, would be if Donovan Mitchell shows up for the Baylor Bears as he has.
True story. And the thing about Baylor is, can they create turnovers, Jacoby? That's going to be the key. You want to get out in broken floor situations, 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s, see if they can score before the Gonzaga D gets set. And then on the other side, your body double, my man's in them, the big fella on the interior, Timmy. Like David Jacoby shows up at the park, shows up at the YMCA, shows up at the rec, and he celebrates every chance he gets. The dunks, the behind the back passes, the unnecessary. There he is. That's my guy who's starring in the game tonight.
Well, we'll see tonight. We'll obviously talk about it tomorrow, but there was also a very interesting game in the National Basketball Association yesterday. It was the Battle of Los Angeles. Obviously, the Lakers were without LeBron James and Anthony Davis, but the Clippers showed up and won the game. Jalen, how concerned are you about this Lakers team that could potentially slide into a play-in position?
So here's why I'm concerned about the Lakers going forward. I think when LeBron James returns, he has shown us to be extremely durable and likely will not get injured again. Anthony Davis, I don't have that same confidence. He's a player throughout his career. He's just dealt with multiple injuries. It just happens. He's a professional athlete, Jacoby. So if he returns and then there's a setback, obviously that's going to be an issue. But more importantly, you have the Suns and the Jazz who from the beginning of the season have been consistently great, along with the Clippers, who still have Kawhi and still have Paul George. But when you're the Lakers, Jacoby, you start to fall below the Mason-Dixon line in the West, like 5 and below. Now all of a sudden Dame's involved, and Luka's involved, and Ja Morant's involved, and Zion Williamson's involved, and Steph Curry's involved. Greg Popovich is involved. And if you're the Lakers, you just don't want to get into a scenario where it's do or die and anything can happen at that point.
Well, the Lakers also have a difficult upcoming schedule. When you look at their next 10 games, and then you look at their record, and you look at the other teams in the West, you can see a roadmap in which they end up in a playing position in the 7th seed. And I would hate that for the Phoenix Suns. I would hate that for the Phoenix Suns so much. For them to have the season that they've had and then to wake up and host a game 1 against LeBron and AD just doesn't seem just. But that is the way it goes.
That's just the way it is.
And when we discuss the Western Conference, we oftentimes overlook the Denver Nuggets. They went to the Western Conference Finals last year, and yesterday they handled their business against the Magic. Jalen, what do you think about Jokic and the Nuggets and their chance to go to the finals?
So I'm just going to make a proclamation. Of all of the teams that I've seen that I have confidence in the West in a 7-game series, other than the Lakers, I'm not picking anybody else to beat the Denver Nuggets.
Really?
I'm just not going to be able to do it because, I always talk about why you're in the league, right? Your skill or your will for a lot of people who just aren't outstanding, like superstar talents that's going to be all NBA every year. So when I look at Michael Porter Jr. and I look at Aaron Gordon, they did an amazing job, Josh Kroenke, their GM, of getting 2 players, one that's going to give you the will in Aaron Gordon, slash, cuts, dunks, capable ball handler, capable three-point shooter. And Porter that's going to give you the skill, a heat check kind of guy that can pull up a 3 with the best of them and can score 20 points in a quarter. When you put both of those guys with the Joker and a half-court offense, and Will Barton's going to be a secondary ball handler. We know what Murray can do in the playoffs once he gets hot. Like, JaVale McGee's going to be a contributor as well. Like, I really love what the Nuggets have done building around my stretch mark 5 that lost a lot of weight, the Joker.
He's still a stretch mark 5. And Jalen, when we're talking about these teams that are sort of in the middle, that 3 seed, that 4 seed, not just in the Western Conference, there's a team that's in the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference that we need to discuss. And Jalen, I'm going to have to do it. I don't want to, but I'm going to have to do it. It's time for Negative Jacoby. Jalen, I don't want to do it, but I have to go negative. I want to apologize in advance to the people in Milwaukee and everyone in the Bucks organization, but I do want to say this, that when the Bucks have done what they've done this weekend, which is lock in Drew Holiday to a $160 million 4-year deal, $40 million a year, the Bucks have done it. I love Drew Holiday, 2-way player, scorer, runs the offense. However, when you have Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Drew Holiday, as much money as they have them, they have officially just dedicated themselves to mediocrity. They have dedicated themselves to second-round exits for the next half of a decade. That is my take. Negative Jacoby thinks that the Bucks have done the right thing. They've done everything they can, but they're not getting any free agents, which is why they have these big deals for these players that have locked them into mediocrity. Do you seriously sit here and look into this camera and speak into this microphone and tell me that you think that this Bucks team is going to make the NBA Finals in the next half decade?
Dog, they might make the finals this season. What are you talking about?
Might not.
What are you saying? They might make the NBA Finals this season. They have the back-to-back MVP in Giannis Antetokounmpo, who might win it this year as well, Jacoby. While Drew Holiday, you're going to break down his 4-year, 135 overall. He deserves that bread. Chris Middleton is an all-star consistent level player. And so that's the second best big 3 in the East. The second best big 3 in the East. So given whatever matchup, and by the way, players can also come and play with them. But let me talk to you more about Drew Holiday's game.
I love Drew Holiday.
He doesn't have the ooh and ah of a Kyrie Irving. He doesn't have the unlimited range of a Steph Curry. But let me teach you boys and girls what Drew Holiday's going to do that isn't going to show up in the box score. He's going to actually guard his position. He's going to be able to switch on the perimeter against 1s, 2s, and 3s. He's going to actually be able to rebound for his position. He's going to be effective and efficient for his position. He's going to be able to not only score in the paint, but get to the free throw line. He's going to give you good leadership. He's going to be a professional in the locker room. And he's going to be the guy that if you can't have a Dame Lillard, you do want a Drew Holiday. This is a deal, a discount for the Bucks. And let me tell you another reason why. Giannis, Middleton, and Drew Holiday. You know what they are? Under contract. So we ain't talking about is Giannis going to stay or go. We're not talking about what's going to happen with their squad. They can just focus on the game. I like what's happening in Milwaukee, and I got to defend Goliath, I see. I got you, Giannis. I'll defend Goliath with my Bucks colors on indirectly.
You know you would pick the Nets over the Bucks in any 7-game series. You know that. Moving on, we have a national championship. Last night, it was the Women's College Basketball National Championship, and it was the Cardinals, Stanford, that won the game. Jalen, celebrate this achievement.
It was an outstanding game, and I'm just glad that the ladies' game is getting the respect that it deserves, not only the nationally televised games on ABC, but also ESPN and the viewership and the marketing and promotion and just the eyeballs and the excitement of the game. That once we've tuned in, it's been great basketball the entire tournament. But I will say this, and not to go negative, Jacoby, wasn't a fan of the final possession of either team. It was like a great game, a great fight. And then all of a sudden the decision happened and I was like, ah. But overall, I still was in love with what I saw. Congratulations to Stanford for getting it done. And congratulations to Arizona, too. Their new coach is really going to do a terrific job with that program.
Jalen, joining us in just mere minutes is the mastermind of the Wu-Tang Clan. That man right there, RZA, stops by the show. Digital. He joins us right after this. You are watching Jalen and Jacoby. Bang, bang. To you live from the Seaport District in New York City and brought to you by Chase. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, today is such a special day on the broadcast. Who is joining us on Jalen and Jacoby right now?
Bobby Digital, the brainchild of the Wu-Tang Clan. The RZA is here with us. We appreciate you, legend. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Is my outline doing the right thing? Because I'm like drifting.
No, Zach Zig is here on Jalen and Jacoby. We're going to start with a sports question. Right now, the Nets have a lot of firepower, a lot of stars, but New York City is truly a Knicks town, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I had a big talk with Master Killer and just the other day. Because everybody want to go to Brooklyn. I'm like, hold on, we got to keep the Knicks, man. No, that's classic New York. You know what I mean? So we got the benefit of having the New York Knicks, our legendary team, the Brooklyn Nets making noise. So New York got a two-hand punch right there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's actually dope for New York that the Nets are going to be covered worldwide and the Knicks are going to be the most popular team in New York. That's so very awesome. I love that so much. Can you tell us one of your favorite and most memorable stories of being a part of the Wu-Tang Clan?
Wow. I mean, it got to be just the first time our record, was on the radio. BLS or Hot 97, one of them stations played our record, and we was just sitting in our little apartments praying that we could make it. And you hear it on the radio, and we just all jumped up in the air and felt this energy of the wick was lit. We never turned back from that moment. So that first time hearing your voice coming through the radio was one of my most special moments, yo.
Well, I've been a fan since Pass the Bone. Of course, I remember that one. But now I want to know what's next for you. What can fans expect from you musically soon?
I mean, look, right now I'm having fun making film, popping up in movies and all that. But on the creative level, I'm always popping in the studios, whether I'm composing a film. Me and my brother, DJ Scratch, we've been in the studio together too. So that might be something that may be a bang, banger, boomer, this summer. So we'll see what that turned out to be.
Oh my God, that's some breaking news. DJ Scratch might have to break out the Jason mask. That's my brother right there as well. Exactly. And also, I want to congratulate you on being a terrific entrepreneur, a leader in our community, somebody that's not only a talented musician, but an actor. And you got a new project coming out called Nobody, and you play a character called Harry. Tell us about the movie.
Yeah, Nobody, really fun movie. I mean, Jalen, you go there, you got to get 2 buckets of popcorn. I play a sniper named Harry, Bob Odenkirk, Christopher Lloyd, They messing with our family. If you mess with my family, yo, I gotta go do what I gotta do. Sword off shotguns and all that. You know what I mean? Who's tougher than the RZA? Nobody.
We look forward to seeing that. And you were early on in the versus battle movement. What do you think about the development of the versus battle and the upcoming one between your brother Method Man and Redman?
First, man, the versus battle is such a great thing for the culture. Spreading our culture, reintroducing catalogs to people. I had a great time last night just watching Earth, Wind & Fire and Isley Brothers go through it, man. It was beautiful. And now Method Man and Redman on 420. We all know what 420 is.
Yes,
that's a
indeed.
national day. So that's going to be a super way to celebrate 420, Usually Method Man and Redman always got a concert somewhere around this time of the year, right? This time they're going to be on Versus, playing all those hits. It's going to be a tough one too because they got to play the Rockwalla, and they both are on the Rockwalla. So who's going to be like, yo? You know what I mean? So,
absolutely. I couldn't wait to ask you this question. You brought up the versus battle last night with Earth, Wind & Fire and the Isley Brothers. You were part of the most iconic group in the history of hip-hop. What do you think about the saturation and the lack thereof in today's landscape of music of rap groups and R&B groups?
Well, things change, you know what I mean? And it always got to evolve. I personally think what's happening in hip-hop is beautiful because hip-hop continues to travel from state to state, country to country, and feed young people and get their voices heard. We haven't had big groups like that that's a collaboration of energy, but there's a couple out there, It's kind of like, you look at like Brockhampton, you look at Odd Future, of course, Amigos being a threesome, but you look at the groups are always going to be there. When you think about Earth, Wind & Fire and Isley Brothers, and you think about, hundreds of songs and dozens of albums they share with the world, that's a legacy that was unique to soul, funk, jazz. But hip hop also got a legacy like that. You go back and check some of our crews, you'll see, brothers with 5, 6, 7, 8 albums. Wu-Tang, I think we definitely the Wu-Tang catalog, if you start counting our solo projects, you might find 77 albums in there. So
wow.
So music is always evolve, and it always finds a way to feed each generation. So I'm just really grateful that we could have such past, present, and a very beautiful future for what hip hop and music means in particular. You know what I mean? So I'm just happy for it in all reality.
RZA, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the television program. We always have exclusive content with our guests on the podcast, and you can see RZA in Nobody wherever you see movies. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, y'all. I just want to say one thing. I usually watch y'all while I'm on my elliptical. Today I'm there hanging out with y'all. Bong bong. Thank you, brothers.
We love you, brother. Appreciate you.
Got to give the people